is, oh, hello, sorry. Something's just come up on my computer.
Yeah.
Is that recording?
It's from now onwards, yes.
Sorry. So Spotlight started 14 years ago this year, and our aim is to bring a little hope to children that have experienced trauma, whether that is children affected by domestic abuse, young carers, children with mental health issues, loss and separation, and children in care. We work with children, all children, but then become a safety net when things don't go according to plan in a child's life. So things that we provide is free activities to boost confidence and self-esteem. That is anything from free dance classes to going trampolining or Laguna Park sort of thing, just to give them a bit of fun. Our view is that we can't take away the past, but we create new memories and give a little bit of hope. And so the funding that you did, we run a project called Show a Little Love, and that is to create mental health care packs for children and parents that are something has gone awry in their life, and they're struggling with mental health. So it's we complete a little pack which we call a Pick Me Up Pamper Pack, and for the children, that is, we have a little cuddly teddy, a toy, smellies, arts and craft bits in. And then for teenagers and mums, it's all like a pamper pack, so face masks, bath bombs, something that they can take to one side and have some special pamper time for themselves. And the idea is to put a bit of a smile on faces when they're struggling. And with your help, with your funding, we were able to fund 1,800 care packs last year, which went all the way across the area, into schools, care homes, and we get nominations from schools, social workers, and yeah, so it brought a massive smile on a lot of people's faces. And then we go from Christmas. So we last year donated over 3,000 Christmas presents across the area, and then go to care pack mode. So it's very full on. And we offer mentoring in schools and emotional support. I know that you've just kindly donated some funding as well for a Christmas party, which sort of got postponed, and then it's just a bit going to happen in a week's time, where we have 75 to 100 young people coming for like a bouncy castle fun party as well. So I just wanted to say a massive thank you to you for your support. I know the Rotary very well. We've worked with the Basingstoke teams for about 13 years. Was lucky enough to be given the Paul Fellow Award a few years back, which is amazing. So yeah, that's Spotlight in a bit of a nutshell.
Thank you very much. Would you be happy to answer some questions?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so members, if you've got questions, please fire ahead now.
Yeah, what's your catchment area you specifically deal with?
So we started in Basingstoke in 2009, and in the last 4 years we've been working in Calcott juniors, infants and juniors, Southcote Primary, so dance classes wise at Southcote Primary, Cates Grove, Jeffrey Fields, Whitley Wood, Primary, trying to work out through our week, Manor Primary, but we work in all of the schools, so we go in and do mentoring, and then when we do the activities and the Christmas presents and care packs, it goes out across all of the schools in Reading.
And do you get referred specific people, kids to see you, or is it a general?
Yeah, no, so although we work with all children, so when we do our trips out, it's open to everybody. But we then go to the schools and say, can you nominate sort of 20 to 30 children each time? And so it goes out to each of the schools, and that is targeted children. And then when we go into schools, for our mentoring program, it is all like vulnerable young people.
Thanks.
In your website, Pranjali, in your website, you mentioned that you do get in touch with YMCA.
Yes, so we were working with the job centre, and we run a program working with 16 to 24-year-olds that were young care leavers. So that was where that came in. So a lot of them were in supported lodgings through YMCA, and it was helping them build resilience, and helping them with work skills to then try and get them back into employment. But the core thing was that these young people have experienced horrific trauma. So we're all trained in what's called the adverse childhood experiences trauma recovery. So it was helping them. You're never going to get over trauma. I know that from my own. I mean, my own background was one of the reasons why I started up. I was brought up in a domestic violent household, and I was in care. So I've been there and done that one, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to protect young people and try and do what I could to help. So I understand where these young people are coming from, and so you're never going to get over trauma 100%, but it's about trying to rebuild and use your experiences for a positive and try and come out the other side. And that's what we did with these young people.
Many thanks, because I come from abroad, and in my young days in the uni, the YMCA in England and YMCA in the United States were very much talked about, because young people used to say to each other that if you go to England and if you have difficulty in finding accommodation, try going to the nearest YMCA. They are very good in helping you to find accommodation.
Yeah.
So, yes, so I'm very pleased. Though I haven't, when I came to England, I didn't visit any YMCA. Though I have been in Reading area, there is one YMCA at the Parkside Road where I have to go and treat patients.
Yeah.
I have seen young people with injuries and also traumatized who came to YMCA.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. Any other questions, Frank?
Yeah, yes. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when confidence building in children was done by scouts and guides and that sort of thing. Is there have those movements changed so much that there's a need for your organization and similar organizations, or is it a question of expense with scouts and guides, or just shortages?
No, they're still there. I mean, we've actually just linked up with the guides and scouts, mainly across Hampshire, but they're putting us in touch with Berkshire, and we also work with the Army cadets in Whitleywood. And I think that's invaluable, because the skills that they learn, we're sort of like a different. When we first started, our core work was performing arts, but always knew that we were going to get to the families, and that's sort of where it started. So my escape when I was younger was performing arts, because you can be someone else. You almost create this visage that you can build your confidence and take be someone else and forget what's going on at home. And that's when social services got wise to us and the floodgates opened. So as well as starting the free classes, we then started providing free equipment. So we would get calls from social workers say, and it still hasn't changed, we get calls from social workers saying, I need clothes, or I've got a family that's fled domestic violence, could you provide cots and mattresses and nappies and all sorts. So it's sort of like quite a wide support.
And I guess there are more single parents now than the
So,
era that I'm thinking of. Yes.
yeah, and some of the stories you hear is quite horrific, to be fair. I sort of make a little bit of a light heart on it, but we work a lot of children. We've worked with a lot of young people that come to us selective mute because of what they've experienced with trauma. And then you get them up on stage performing after a few months, and just seeing the difference in them is absolutely incredible. And it's also building a social network for them where they get their support. A lot of these young people, especially males, don't have positive male role models around as well. Haven't had a great start, so it's actually providing positive role models for them as well, so that history doesn't repeat itself.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Just ask quickly. I mean,
Yes, sir.
it's clear that you're responding to a need, which is fantastic. Do you have any way of kind of measuring the effectiveness of what you do?
We get a lot of testimonies from schools, especially the head teachers are very supportive of our work, and we get a lot of referrals. We get the questionnaires and feedback from the children and parents as well.
Thank you.
And it's funny because I started this, I volunteer, so I act as CEO purposely as a volunteer, so that everything we fundraise goes to core delivery of our work and supports the children, so there's not like massive overheads. And I started it, so I now see some of our young people that started with us 14 years ago come back and seeing how they've all grown up, and you know, they're on the right track, which is really rewarding to see what the difference they've made in their lives, the change, you know, how they were 13, 14 years ago. Very rewarding.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for that. Yes, Matt?
Just a simple question. What is your sort of turnover, or how much money do you need per year, or you actually currently have to achieve it?
It's all just gone down, thank God, because we've like overheads, but our income, I'll explain. Our income last year was 251,000, but that's because we were running a food bank at the same time as well. So we provided 4 or 5 years ago, we were contacted by health visitors saying that where we were based, which was in Popley, a lot of the families couldn't get from Popley into town to get food, and that the food bank at the time was only running a part-time service, sort of 3 afternoons a week, so people were struggling. So we started quite small with a food bank, and it exploded to we were supporting 230 people every week. And then COVID hit, and we became the main food bank for Basingstoke and West Berkshire. We actually provided 600,000 meals during COVID with giving out food parcels, which was quite crazy, and into Reading and Calcott and Tilehurst. It went a bit nuts, and we've just stopped that side of it because we never set up to be a food bank. It sort of happened as a one-stop shop, and that's where our costs were quite high because we were buying food, etc., to do that. So we are just short of 100,000 a year now, and that is on core delivery work.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions? If not, I'll ask Fran to give our thanks.
Well, it's always a great pleasure to thank our speaker to the Rotary Club. And I see up on the screen is Hannah.
And it's Michaela,
It's
sorry,
Michaela.
it's my daughter's,
Michaela.
daughter's laptop.
Michaela, I'm very, very impressed because I worked as a general practice for a long time. And there is always unfortunate young people who are traumatized in the changes in circumstances in their home, either bullying at school,
Yeah.
things happening to them, and they need some kind of a kind, loving support and kind word to them. And I think your organization is a wonderful supplement to these children and a great support, and our club feels very much in favor to support you. We would like you to carry on doing wonderful work you do for young people and giving them a help and support, which definitely helps to build their career, as quite a few of them make a wonderful citizen when they grow up. So I thank you, and I'd like all the assembled audience with today to join me thanking you for coming and talking to us.
Thank you. But also thank you guys, because I know how hard you lot all work, knowing how hard the Rotary guys work. I work a lot with various Rotary, and I know how hard you guys will work and volunteer. So thank you for what you do to the community.
Well, hard work we do, and I can tell you that not very long ago, we had a Santa run, and that very day, it was really bitterly cold. And I don't know how to keep standing on two legs for 2 hours, because we were seeing them all to finish their run. So we do work hard, and we like to support the fam to you and other disadvantaged families.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Fran. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So, friends, hope to